What if I did? What if I said? What if I looked around at everything with love? What if I heard? What if I gave? What if my hand reached out to everything with love? What if I'm a beacon of that light that shines in all of us? And what if I'm the only
Maybe it doesn't.
some will see? Then I must recognize within the spirit, and it's only love. And I must be what I've come here to be. And I know the first step begins within me. What if I felt perfectly whole? What if my heart
Begin Within Ministries proudly presents Sofa Sundays with your hosts, Reverend Dr. Michelle Ezugwu and Reverend Jeannie Sovereigns. Sundays at 11:11 a.m. Arizona time and rebroadcasts on Mondays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Come join us on the sofa every Sunday morning. Sofa Sundays with Michelle and Jeannie. Learn more at www.beginwithinministries.com. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.
Well, good morning, everyone, here in Sofa Sundays land. We're happy to be here this morning. Missing Jeannie, of course, as always, but you know, sometimes I'm able to bring this hunk of man here with me. He said yes to being with us this morning.
I did. Hi, so I'm trying to get my live set here.
He's going to do a live stream on his Instagram now, which is going to be fun. Okay, so we, what was I going to say now? I don't know. Oh, I want to thank True Davis for getting us set up this morning. Thanks for being here. He's all things, our crew, backstage person, everything. And thank you, Miss Ann, for getting us our coffee and our, well, I had hot chocolate today. So being a little girl, silly girl.
We'd have a hot chocolate every day. For sure.
I know I would. I love hot chocolate. All right. Well, we are here live on Sofa Sundays. We are located at 7220 North 7th Street here in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you're local, you still can get here because you're never late on the sofa. So, and this is my wonderful darling husband, Mr. Peter Ezugwu, we have as our guest today.
Hello.
My husband is a community leader. He's a mentor. He's an entrepreneur, just all things, ex-professional athlete, and just a wonderful man. So I'm glad that you're here with us today to go over this wonderful topic.
If I needed to come every day to church to hear that, I would come every day to church to hear that. So thank you. Keep it coming.
My life is a living expression of infinite possibilities. And boy, are we going to be able to speak to that today for sure. All right, so let me get us prayed in so we can get to it. Let me just ring our little chime here. And with the sound of that chime, let's come into this moment together with a deep breath. And as you release that breath, let go of the morning. Release the day that you've already had. Coming into this present moment together, this beautiful sacred space, the now. Knowing that the now is all there is. That's all we truly have is this moment. So we let everything else go. Coming into the recognition that there's only one. There's only one power, one presence, one energy back of all things. It is everything. It is God. And each one of us is that perfect, whole, and unique expression of God in our own unique way. We are each love. We are each joy. We are each connection. We are each that energy moving in as and through us. And so from that place of knowing my truth of who and whose I am, I speak my word for our time together, knowing that it is divinely guided and truly blessed as we allow ourselves to be here in this present moment, as we allow ourselves to receive the conversation, to receive the ideas that are offered, to receive the sharing, the connection, the laughter, the joy, all the things, taking it into our own lives and allowing it to help us to create a life we love. And I'm grateful to be a part of this. I'm so grateful for everyone here present, hearing the sound of my voice and beyond. And so I let it go, know and trust that it's already done in the mind of God. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
So this morning, with this wonderful topic, we'll do our mugshot.
Mugshot.
Jeannie and I always have a mugshot. Let's do one. Yes, that's our mugshot in the morning here on Sofa Sundays. So as we sit here, coming into this time together and into this beautiful space, there's a lot going on out there in the world. To come here and to be sharing ways that we can create a life we love. And looking at this card, my life is a living expression of the infinite possibility. This is the affirmation card that happened to fall on today's topic, on today's agenda. And so we speak to this. Speak to each of our lives as a living expression of infinite possibilities. And I know I've seen that in my own life, in my own experiences as I continue to evolve and grow. I met with a high school friend yesterday that I haven't seen in probably 5 or 6 years now. And before that had been quite a long time too. And to recall and reminisce about being 18, 19, 20 years old and the lives that we had at that time. And I was telling True this morning that, you think that at that time, you think that's all there is, right? That's it. This is life,
And you know everything.
And you know everything, of course. Of course we did. Of course we did. And now looking at that almost, 40 years later, I think to myself, wow, how many iterations of that young girl have I been over and over, different things that have happened, good and bad, that we would call good and bad, yet even everything, as we were talking about too, everything, if you believe that God is back of all things, then even what we would call bad is still for our good.
Right.
And I can look back at the so-called bad moments, yet they moved me or caused me to move in a way that led to the next, what I would call good thing, right?
Right. So, so that's a interesting segue, or an important segue. My life is a living expression of infinite possibility. And so I think at the core, the first thing to recognize there is this idea that I have control and I am the one that makes the choices.
Yes, sir.
There's a deep perspective that comes from kind of this enrichment idea, or this enriching idea of perspective coming from experience. So often we have experiences that don't necessarily echo or mirror the type of life that we want to live. And I always say to people that kind of ingrained in that core of that is that we've made a choice to have that experience, right? And so just the statement by itself, my life is a living expression of infinite possibility, is profound, but there's a lot of layers to it.
Yeah.
There's this idea that you have to take control of your life. It's not happenstance. You're not doing things out of just reaction. We're searching for ultimate meaning for our actions and for the things that we do and why we do it, and why we do those things. So I think the idea of control and kind of this mission-focused life where we're headed towards a direction is important. It's not, sorry, my neck's kind of messed up, but it's not just, putting things out in the universe and expecting the universe to reciprocate. It doesn't work like that. We have to be intentional with our actions, and that's where control happens. And so getting a little deeper with that, for you as a person, and you're very spiritual, very intentional, very giving, very kind, very loving. What is it for you that makes a difference, makes it easier for you to, because I'm learning a lot from this woman, of course. What is it that makes a difference for you in order to live your life in a way that is expression of infinite possibility? How do you turn around and have something negative happen, which we call negative, right? And then suddenly you turn around and you're turning that negative into a positive, which she does all the time, by the way. She does it a lot. So when I'm looking at something, I'm like, man, I'm pissed about this, and then suddenly it's flipped into something positive, and then we move in that direction. It's a powerful, amazing thing. What is it for you that has you be that resolute and that intentional?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head when you started off by saying we're the ones in control, right? When we truly understand that it's through our thinking that is creating, so if you don't like, we said this many times here on the sofa, if you don't like what you're experiencing in your life, what's happening out here in your life, to understand that you are the creator of your own world, then you can also understand that you can change things that you don't like too. As hard as it is to look at your life and say, I don't like these aspects of my life, and then to have to take responsibility for being the creator of it, sometimes we think it's easier to live in victim mode, or to think it's his fault or her fault or that person's back year's fault. But the moment that we say, no, it's on me, I'm the creator, but then if you are the creator, you are the creator. You get to then choose something else to create. You get to choose a different path to create. And that is empowering.
Right.
And so to sit back and say, okay, so how do I do that? How do I align with what I want in my life?
Right.
Because we're all like, I'm trying to think, who was it that was talking about this? It was so also a nail on the head, talking about we are the frequency. We are setting our frequency. Our different possibilities, all these possibilities of which way it can go. And you all know this because you've had things happen to you and you know it could have gone many ways.
Right.
And I've heard people say that, well, it could have gone many ways, but luckily this happened, right? So you're tuning the dial to whatever frequency that you're going to head toward.
Right.
You're turning that compass, whatever degree, and heading in that direction, right? You're doing that. Whether you know you're doing it or not, if you're doing it by default, you're still the doer.
Manipulation of mindset and outcome.
Yeah.
So again, these are things that, so I wasn't so intimately involved in constructing the path of my life until I realized that it was a thing, meaning I would fly by the seat of my pants regularly, not because I did that intentionally. It was because this life would just take me in directions. I can think about the first moment, that I made a really important decision. It was the moment I was at a basketball camp, and I was, my eventual high school coach asked me if I was interested in coming to the States and playing basketball in high school. And of course I said yes as a 15-year-old, not able to make those decisions, but I said yes. And that yes ultimately changed my life forever. There's an alternate universe she always talks about where I didn't say yes, where I might have said no, and then my life went into a whole different direction and things around me were completely different. Obviously, I wouldn't change that decision for anything in the world, but that at that time, I was living. That was me living my expression, my naive, innocent self, responded by living my life with expression of my infinite possibilities. And I decided that, for me, that was the path. I had no clue that I was going to be leaving my family for so long, that it was going to challenge the relationship I had with my mother, and that my dad would pass away 3 years later, wouldn't get to spend any time, whatever it was, right? I had no clue about those things. I just was reacting, based on the core principle that I had a choice, and that's what I chose in that moment, without being educated about what I was choosing. My point is, that was without the kind of, without the distractions that the world gives you and the context it can create actually can be wrong. I was just living in a space where I was naive. Like, we talk to this a lot about my wife sometimes. I think sometimes it's not bad to be naive, because you do things that sometimes you make the right decisions when you're naive. Sometimes you do. And so that's not to say whether the decision I made was wrong or right. But the older we get, and I'm imagining your audience is a little older in terms of they have life experience, you have this context to trust your decisions and direct your life in a way that, kind of appeases this fear that you're making the wrong decision. So the older we get, it's never too late. It's never too late to be able to sit there and say, my life is a living expression of infinite possibility. Don't care how old you are, what your predicament is. That's your life, and you have the opportunity to express that.
I love that. It is. It's our lives. And right, like we've all had pivotal moments in our life where we could have chose something else and we didn't. We chose whatever brought us on this path. And sometimes we say, dang it, if I'd only done that, I'd be somewhere else now. And I have done that before in my life. And then I've said to myself, yeah, but if I had done that, then I also wouldn't have maybe the 4 children I have. Maybe I wouldn't have. And as soon as I do that, wouldn't have this husband I have. I'm good. I think I'll keep it right where it's at, right? Because there's so much good in your life when you take a moment and look at it. So many things did happen that were for your good. And even the negative things, if we're believing that God has your back, the Spirit has your back and is always in supportive mode, even the bad things. But we're the ones that are deciding if something is good and bad. And we remember the story about the farmer. Remember the story about the farmer whose horse, I can't remember the whole story, but the horse bucks him off, right? And he gets injured, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's so unfortunate that this happened, and you lost your horse, and then now you've been injured. This is awful." And he says, "Oh, we'll see." He doesn't label it. We'll see. And then the army comes into town, takes all the able-bodied men, but he's got an injured leg, so he can't go. Oh my gosh, that's so fortunate that happened. That we'll see. And the story just can go on and on forever. It's this little story, but it lets you know that every situation, we're the labelers. We're deciding if that's good or bad. But everything is for our good. If you believe that, then it will be. If you can look at the thing that's happening, and you can say, okay, fine. If this is supposedly for my own good, then what is it? What's the good thing? And oftentimes, when you, even sarcastically, saying that, you can see it. Because there's 2 sides of the coin. I can certainly identify the bad part of it. This is bad for me. This is happening. I didn't want this. I didn't ask for this, But if I can say for a moment, okay, what's the other side of this coin then? I can see that too.
Right.
And we are choosing our experience based on which side of the coin we choose to look at. If we're choosing to look at the side of the coin that's the negative side, then that will absolutely be our experience.
Right.
Then we will certainly align with that. Our frequency will be targeting everything negative that can prove that correct, because we like to be right.
Right.
So yeah, if this sucks, if everything's awful, my life sucks, everything's miserable, people are off, all this stuff, guess what? You're going to have experience after experience that's going to say, I was right, I knew it, I was right. But if we turn around and we say, something good has to come out of this, I'm going to turn this around for good, I'm going to make this a better place, because how many people have had these horrible, horrible things happen to them? And that's the backbone of some of the most amazing organizations that are out there today, helping other people that go through that same thing. Because that person said, oh no, this is not going to happen in vain.
Imagine
I refuse. I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to bless anybody else coming through this, or maybe prevent it altogether.
Right.
That's somebody who chose to look at the other side of the
Imagine
coin.
the strength it takes to go through tragedy and convert that tragedy into positive effect for everybody else. Not for you, but for everybody else, right? It's obviously it's uniquely therapeutic for somebody that has trauma to convert that trauma. And those are special people, by the way.
They are.
You are subverted to injustice and trauma that not most humans can't deal with. And you turn around and you make it a positive. Start a nonprofit. You start activating your kind of what's the word? Protest, right? Peaceful protest in a way.
Yeah.
So what happened? you object to it. You passionately abstain from this idea of negativity around this event, and you turn around and you say, I'm gonna turn this into a positive. That's crazy, and it's incredible that I commend people that can do that.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's just as just as simple, just as complex as asking someone to say, saying to somebody, after someone that they love passed away or they deal with tragedy, and you say to them, "Oh, it'll be okay." It's like, will it? In that moment, you're like, "Okay, will it be okay?"
Right.
But somehow it's as simple as that, right? The mindset shift is as simple as it'll be okay, and then deciding, as you said, that it will be okay, because, well, we'll see, but
Yeah, we'll see.
being open to at least the possibility that it could be okay, that's a step in itself. I used to
Being willing.
being willing. I used to really despise. This is a long, not despise. I used to people that were always positive. Used to bother me. Just being honest, like it used to bother me, not because. So some of them it would bother me, and the others it would concern me. So it would, and then others it was like, okay, that's genuine. And there was categories on that. There was people that were just naturally positive. There were others that were making the choice to be positive and not negative, were fighting their demons, right? And there are others that were choosing to react positive, instead of negative, whatever. There's other categories, I'm sure. But now as I get older and hopefully wiser, more sage, I feel like it's the world is showing us that it's easy to be negative, and that negative is a default emotion, and that we can align with negativity if we want to, and the consequences won't be as bad as perhaps before we thought they might. Now it's almost seems like, and I hate to say this, it's being rewarded. Negativity is actually being somehow rewarded in a way. And I don't want to say that kind of at the core of that negativity, they're getting a reward, but it's being rewarded.
Yep.
It's being sanctioned. And that scares the crap out of me, to be honest with you, because I'm a person that feels very deeply in personal output, how you behave. And those things matter, especially for an identity of a nation or a community, right? We have to be better. We have to put more of a we have to be more resolute. And being more resolute aligns with this, and bringing it back to this. My life is a living expression of infinite possibility. So it means I can have control of my life, the positivity I put out, the people I influence.
True.
I'll get upset because of this collective idea of people not resonating the way that they're supposed to, and not doing things that they're supposed to. That bothers me. I can't control them. What I can control is the way I behave, what energy I put out into the world, the way that I treat people, even if they treat me in a way that I don't like. So that's something to think about as we get to the core of what makes us be able to live a life of expression and infinite possibility.
Right, exactly. Because Anne, you can figure out.
Well, I think that I agree entirely with what you just said, Peter.
Thank you.
I think that it's as though that hateful, shameful underbelly of negative human beings has been given permission to assert itself.
There it is.
Whereas there are things that people would never have said out loud or in public that now are completely acceptable because it's being, from the very top of the tier, it's being demonstrated. And to me, it's astonishing that people see that and don't recoil. I am baffled by that.
Go ahead. Oh, you want to talk to that?
No, me?
Oh, Evie's question.
And unfortunately, the other side of the coin is some of those people think they're being positive about things, that is their positivity.
Yeah.
And it just kind of blows my mind that, like Anne says, that they feel like they're sanctioned to do it, but to them, that's a good thing. And I just don't get it.
Right.
So
Thank you.
let me challenge Anne and Evie, like what a little bit of question and answer.
You want them to have the mic?
Yeah,
Oh.
true. So, sorry. So, for you guys that are more, like, for sure wiser than I am, as we sit and we kind of posture, we reflect, and we see these things that are happening, because like you're both emotes, meaning you're both emotional, compassionate people that care, have the opportunity to counsel you in other areas, and I understand that. And so, what is it that you think, the world could do, that people could do individually? I just mentioned something, but to be able to, how do we affect change on a larger scale outside of just kind of being positive in your own life? And then when you meet people that make absolutely no sense, they make no sense. And you're like, okay, where did you come from? What? And I'm actually curious, well, what's these people's upbringing? What's happened to you that you lack humanity? You lack simplicity to be able to say, okay, that's wrong. I have different views than that person, but that's wrong. What do we do? I know, it's a question.
Well, sometimes there's a herd mentality, and even though you may not believe something, you may agree or disagree with somebody that doesn't have your own viewpoint. In my case, I tend to just, and maybe this is sticking my head in the sand like an ostrich, I tend not to engage. If somebody starts on me about something that I find egregious, I just don't engage with them. I think that we're too much of a silent majority, or maybe we are a majority, we're just a silent majority. And maybe because we are compassionate, we just, I can't reconcile it. It's hard for me to reconcile, but that people could be so negative and nasty. A lot of the social media things, which I tend to stay away from, are just so negative. They can turn a positive into a negative in just one word. I'm like, what the heck? You're talking about a puppy.
Yeah, right.
What could be wrong with a puppy?
Right.
And so, but then people start jumping on that, and then the people who maybe disagree with it will then get nasty too,
Right.
because the other person was nasty, and it just perpetuates itself. So to me, it's just don't engage, because I think nobody's gonna. If you feel that strongly about whatever, you're not gonna listen to me anyway.
But so then at the core of that, don't engage. To me, it's like, okay, don't engage, but it's almost we're doing a disservice to humanity by not engaging, because some things have to be engaged on, in my opinion. Tell me I'm wrong, or not. No, not you. I mean, like the universe. Like it's like we have to. There has to be a ground zero for morality. There you go. That's a bar. There has to be a ground zero from the rap. There has to be some, like, I had the displeasure, I'll let you answer too. I had the displeasure of watching some footage years ago. My wife thinks I'm crazy for watching this stuff. I need to see it sometimes. But like of the genocide in Rwanda, I saw some live footage of what they would. It was absolutely horrifying. Never seen anything like it in my life. I've never mentioned it to you, but horrifying. Like it made me sick to see the anger and the evil in this man's eyes that were doing this to other human beings. It was like, is this possible? And then so that was, at the time I looked at it like they were animals, but if you think about it, I always say this to you, we have human beings, we have such a wide range. We always talk about this, of possibilities of what we are. We can be great, kind, compassionate, beautiful, right? That's why we celebrate that. Like, CNN has that award for heroes. That's the kind of thing I want to see all the time. But then we can be horrible, like on the other side, we can be genocide, whatever. We can be just horrible people. And so for me, I think humanity needs to be pushed in the other direction as much as possible every time we get an opportunity to, so that those people that are that way realize you're not the minority. Does that make sense? Yeah.
I think for myself, obviously I can only speak for myself, but it would be so easy to be in despair all the time. And I know for myself that that's not how I want to live.
Right.
The only thing, I speak up, I think I agree with you. I think it's important to speak up, but the most powerful thing that I can do is to demonstrate, to role model the behaviors I'd like to see in people. That whatever situation I come into, whatever potential for negativity there is, I have the power to bring positivity to that. It might be moment for moment. It might be something minor or small. It might not be something that impacts universally.
Right.
But the difference that I can make is choosing on a daily basis to live the values that I'd like to see around me.
Love it.
Yes.
Yeah. Great.
The other thing is, there are natural born leaders in the world and there are not, and I'm not. I admit that immediately. I'm not outspoken, I'm shy. But there are people who are on the side that I would choose.
Right.
And I choose to get behind them and give them the support they need so they can ride the wave.
Right, I like that.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Because I think that something's gonna rise from this. There's somebody out there, and it's not gonna be me because I'm not the right person to lead, but there's somebody out there who is a whippersnapper that is just gonna rise above it, and we are going to push that person, whether it be male, female, or whatever, to the forefront of it, and that person will help humanity, so to speak. And of course, there's a million different things that need to be adjusted in the world, but we can only work on what we can work on at a time.
Right.
So, like I said, it may not make a huge difference in the world, but it'll make a difference to 10 or 12 people.
To that starfish.
Right.
Right, well, we do have a ripple effect.
Mhm.
So we do affect, even though it's in our own little space, we do have that ripple effect. It does affect everything. And what did I write down there from? So I think, yes, definitely engaging, but engaging in love.
Mhm.
So you have to be careful not to engage in anger bad, because then you're only creating this more of the same thing.
Yeah.
So, and I love what you said, Evie, because I learned that a long time ago, dealing with when my dad was very ill and watching this nurse take care of him. And I learned at that time that there were some things that I am not called to do.
Mhm.
And it's okay. There are horrible things happening in the world that other people go out purposefully, whether in Peace Corps. There was a woman I watched a special on this woman and I thought, oh my God, she was going out in the world and hearing other women's stories, horrific stories. And I thought, he knows I'm very sensitive. I can't hear that stuff. I can't hear it. It will haunt me. And I mean, I will have a hard time functioning. I can't even watch a movie that has moments with children or cruelty. It's very difficult for me to do that.
And we bypassed many a good movie because of it. And I get it.
But I will be haunted for days and sometimes weeks, and it will make it's very hard for me. And I learned that because that's not for me to do. That is not mine. There are people who are equipped with the ability to get in there and do their job. And I love what you said, Evie. If it's not me to do that, then I will support those who can do it because that is their calling. My calling is maybe just here, maybe because I still have a ripple effect. Every prayer, every kind smile I give to somebody else, every time he holds a door for somebody, every single time we are causing a ripple effect out in the world, creating more of what we want to see. I'm not going to stoop down to someone else's level and get on their level and argue with them and be as hateful as they are. I'm going to rise up above and be like, wow, something has happened in your life that has made you this way. And I'm going to love you through it and do what I need to do to help support the other side of that coin.
So
They go low, we go high.
That's right. Girl,
So
that's
Evie
right.
just said,
Evie,
sorry,
Yeah, that's a good.
I'm English.
Either way.
Either way.
Evie just said that we can make a change by supporting people that like emote this energy that we want. That was so awesome because I'm always thinking negatively, well, sometimes I think negatively. Support people that echo your sentiments and your values. Love that. Thanks for that. Give me something good. Because I'm always like,
Yeah.
like what can I do? What can I do? And that's probably because I do feel like, not that I'm ordained, but I do feel like I'm,
We got some more.
I do feel like I've been given this opportunity to lead. And I felt that since even when I played professional sports, one of the things I would do often, and it actually on a couple of my teams, I really believe that we got an opportunity to be champions or get to the championship because of this simple thing. And this is what I recognize this, that we don't have two Americans on each team. And one of our Americans would always be a guard, and then we'd have like a forward or my position, whatever. The guard was supposed to be a leader. The guard, which is like a 1-2 point guard, shooting guard, smaller guys, supposed to be the leader on the team. These guys would need, believe it or not, these guys that have scored 20 points a game in college, drafted in the NBA, they go to Europe, they're a little bit downtrodden because they're not making the money, they're not in the NBA, but they're still making good money. And I watched these guys in the halftime games get demoralized because they shot 3 of 12 or whatever. We're losing. And I'd go into the locker room and I would make it a point to sit down and breathe life into them. This is basketball, whatever. It's inconsequential, but it was context for me. Right. I would breathe life into the locker room. I swear, every time. And I wouldn't do it because I was looking for kudos. I did it because I cared about that person and I knew what they were capable of and I wanted to win. So I'm in the locker room like, yo, bro, you can go. Like that dude, he sucks. He can't guard you.
Yeah.
You're better than him.
Yeah.
Kill him. This is me in the locker room every single game. I had a couple of teammates that would attest to that. And it changed. I watched them, I would say 80%, 85% of the time, they come out that second half just because of that conversation and they would ball. One of my guys literally had 6 points in the first, and he was our main scorer. We were down by 15. Did that. He had 42 points in that game. Right, came out, and I'm thinking, I'm still, it wasn't, in my back then, I'm like, it wasn't me. It wasn't because of what I did, but, it probably helped a little bit, but I wasn't thinking, I just did that out of spontaneity, but maybe it was that, just switched something in his head that changed, being an advocate for positivity. I'm sorry, I took that in a different direction.
I love it.
I was just gonna say, I can relate to you, Michelle. There's a joke in my family that my sister has to screen all movies for animal cruelty.
Yeah.
I will not go to
Do
a
it.
movie where an animal dies unless it's natural or is beaten or whatever.
Benji.
And I love animals. I would love to be able to work in a shelter, but I can't because of the stuff you see coming in. So what I choose to do is feed cats on the street in my work area. And I feel like maybe it's not making a difference for a lot of cats, but it's making a difference for that cat. So if you can substitute what you can't do for what you can, which is what I've tried to do, it makes me feel like I'm making some kind of contribution to the world.
Awesome.
I think that's exactly what we all should be doing. It's like we've talked about, if you could just go make a mile circumference around where you live and go in there and find where we can make things better. What can you do to make it better? We don't have to go over to another country and help and do whatever, unless you are called to that. I mean, that's fine too. I love people who can do that. But maybe you don't have the means, or you don't want to leave your family, so you have your community right here. We see strays out there all the time, so feed them,
Right.
what are some things that you can do? And it certainly makes everything feel better because you are putting positivity into the world. You are creating a different ripple effect, almost like, I'll show you. Yeah, you with your negativity and your whatever, I'll show you what I can do and you go do what you can do. And if everybody did that, a lot of people become paralyzed with the negativity. Or they become a part of it, not realizing it. I'm on the other side, and now they're on the other side texting and saying awful things too. Well, you're doing the same thing. You're being the same thing on your side. But how do we stop that? Martin Luther King was just a genius. I think that was the first time I really got that was when he said, hate doesn't drive out hate. It doesn't work. It's the same thing.
Right.
You just now you got both sides creating it. Oh, goody. Let's both do it. Yeah, great. Only love does that. Find where, and maybe you can't look at that other person and go give them love. Maybe you can't, but you can give love to the cats on the street. So another cat got fed because you're an asshole. Good. You know what I mean? So maybe that's where it is. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to take it and direct it at the person that's pissing you off or that you don't like, but maybe you just don't even give them any of your energy at all. And you funnel it over here. You go support someone who's speaking the way that, or doing the things that you need them, that you feel is right.
Right.
Maybe that's where you just don't even, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of the negative energy is just fed by other people who feed it.
Yes.
And like you said, if you just ignore them, don't give any energy. I have a person at work who's kind of negative all the time, and I just choose not to engage because she would just keep going and going and going.
Because it empowers her.
And it feels like there's just this negative heaviness in the building. So if you just don't engage, she will eventually be quiet and you can do your work.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one who feels this way. We've all come to realize you just can't get into it.
So you guys just will you just ignore her? Be like,
Well, when I hear
equivocate a little
her,
bit?
when I hear her ranting, I just don't approach her, and she doesn't usually rant in front of me because she knows now, but if I hear her ranting, I just don't even go and talk to her about it.
Right.
Even if I might agree with some of the points she's making, she will not let it go. She beats it to death, and that drives me crazy.
Yeah, there was a salon that was here. I've never been to that, but I heard stories about the owner of the salon. When I opened my first salon, one of the women that had worked for her grew up in that salon, and the lady retired, or I'm not sure, but was no longer. She moved to my salon, and she would tell stories. I think trying to almost give me some of that knowledge as a new owner myself about how she dealt with things. And she said one time there was this woman, and she was just so negative and nasty. Like, she was just mean to everybody. She'd come in there, she'd get in her hair. She's just a mean, ugly person.
Bitching about everything.
Yeah, just nobody can make her happy. And I wish I could remember the name of this owner, because it was the name of her salon. I think a lot of people probably know who this is. But one time she came over and she gifted her some gifts that they had in some kind of a gift basket or something. I think she gave it, put it on didn't say anything, just walked over and just set it down next to her while she was getting her nails done. And she was like, what, I didn't get this. I'm not, no, I don't want you to pay for it. I just want to give it to you. She was, why? And then she said, just be kind. And walked away. That's all she said to the woman, just be kind.
Wow.
And walked away. And the woman they said she was just flabbergasted, just like, and it changed her behavior in there.
You're good at that.
She
You're good at
chose, yeah, I've done that in my life.
Right.
I tell the story of being I was like 19 years old and wanted to go. I was going to be going out that night, so I got off work and I went over to Goldwater's. Remember Goldwater's down in Metro Center Mall? Standing in line to buy these pants or whatever I was buying, and there was a very long line, and the woman at the front of the line, I told you guys this before, I think, was so rude. She was rude to everybody. She was just, ugh. And I thought, oh God, great, like I want to deal with her, and then as I'm standing there and I'm watching her do it, I started thinking about it. This is a very long line, and is nobody going to come help her? Like, she's the only one up there. What is going on? And then I started thinking about, like, wow, that would be a tough job. And so everybody is being just rude right back.
Mm-hmm.
So I get up there and she grabs my thing. Is this it? Is this what you're getting? And I said, yes. And then she starts doing her thing and she's got this whole attitude. And I said, how's the day been going? She goes, oh, ridiculous. I'm the only one here. 3 people called out and I got to work now. I have to work later then. I said, well, that's awful. So they're not going to send anybody to help you? Like, that's it? It's just you? She goes, yeah, just me. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. And then she was like, kind of doing my thing, and I said, well, I wish I could get back there and help you, but I don't know. And she's trying to kind of chuckle. And we had just a nice, and then by the time I was done, she gave me my bag, and I said, thank you. She goes, you're welcome. And she walked away, and I wanted to walk by everybody else and go, you're welcome, you're welcome. You're
Right, exactly.
welcome. I just took that for the team, but I did, it changed that. Everybody else was meeting her with the same energy she had. And luckily I was further back in line because I can be really mean too. I can definitely get triggered and get set off and be that person
I've never seen
too. But luckily I was far enough back in the line that I had time to think about my reaction, and I got to be that person.
That's deep.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot, back in the day when I was a telephone operator for many years. And when you don't have to look someone in the eye, it's real easy for the crap to roll downhill.
Yeah.
And so we were often the recipient of a lot of negative behavior. And I remember, and then what one would do is start kind of, being a rude operator.
Yeah, chopping up.
Okay, so I'm, you've worn out every little bit of niceness in me. And then someone would say something like, you must be having a rough day. And then I would immediately feel guilt and ashamed. It's like, what kind of a person? That's not who I am. And then that would turn around my whole night.
Yeah.
And it will if you allow
Those
it.
people are amazing, aren't they?
Yeah,
The ones that do that.
that's a good customer service person that can do that.
No, right. Those ones, the ones that turn around and say, ones that turn around and say things like that. You like recognizing it, especially if they're disgruntled.
Mhm.
They're calling with an issue, and then you meet them with the same energy, and then they step back and be like, "You must be having a rough day. I'm sorry if I come across. I've done that before. I'm sorry if I come across as being angry. I'm just pissed off because this credit card situation is whatever.
Yeah.
Or my car situation. So yeah, that's a good characteristic to have for somebody to do that. It's not easy because we're always in our own feelings. We're always passionate about what we feel
Yeah.
and how we feel and why we feel that way.
And I've had that happen where I've had to say, I've had to catch myself and go, look, it's not you. I know it's not
Yes,
you.
exactly.
You're not the company. You're just
I'm
the
not
person I
yelling
got
at
on
you.
the phone. I'm just so angry. Yeah, I've had to like catch myself because this poor person, because I can be on fire, like I'm sure a lot of us can, you know, and then it's this other person as soon as you remember, oh yeah, there's another person just doing their job over here, you know, following whatever script they were told to follow, have no power, and they can't do anything about it anyway,
And I'll
you
say,
know?
yeah, and I'll say one more thing. It's never one more thing, but
It's never one.
my life is a living expression of infinite possibilities. So this is what I want to give to your audience from me and from you, of course, and from our audience in this present. I really do feel like just every day, one way we can make a difference, and this is going to be a tough one for some of you, is we can choose to do something nice for someone that we know or don't know. I know it sounds cliche. I mean, not to you guys, because you guys have good hearts, but some people it sounds cliche because they don't give a hoot about anybody else, especially if you feel yourself being selfish.
Random acts of kindness.
Random acts of kindness, self-consumed, right? She was looking up because we did a random act of kindness one day, and it was kind of weird. But I mean, we gave out flowers to some random people. I mean, a couple people didn't accept them. Like they want the flowers. Like, no, I'm good. You know, like, you need to go away. But then we kept going and and we gave out some money and some water to some homeless people. And really, I mean, it was a mixed bag. We were doing it for ourselves, of course. It felt good, but then of course I was trying to break the kids' comfort zone and give it to people that didn't see the world outside of their world. And of course, people need help. It was threefold. But yeah, do something for people that you've never met before, or people you know that need help. Listen, in the ideal world, my wife and I wish that my whole mission in life, I wish that all I could do in the world is just good, like help people. In an ideal world, that's all we would do. We would talk about it all the time. Was travel the world, give me $1 billion. We'll keep probably
We'll fix
10.
everything.
We'll keep 10 million. And the rest of it, somehow, we're going to give away. We're going to change the world. There's going to be legacy footprints of us all over the world. We're here for such a small amount of time. Who are you helping? What are you doing? It's not all about you. You know, if we can create that community, the idea of community, the world will be a better place infinitely. So that's kind of my advice to anybody.
I love that. My life is a living expression of infinite possibilities. That definitely speaks to that. I love that. And I wanted to, is everybody good? Everybody's felt good?
Thank you for your
Sure
questions
you got
and
anything?
participation. Good stuff.
Yeah, that was really good. Last week I had wanted to do the heart map meditation and I forgot about it, but it works for today too. This is something that I learned from Greg Braden, and it's so very helpful in so many ways. Oh, true, you're the best. It's so helpful in so many ways because if you are experiencing something that is difficult and you don't know what to do next, you can say before you go into this meditation, you just need 5 minutes. So you can say, I just need 5 minutes, I'll be right back. And you go and you can do this meditation for yourself. Come back, you'll be in a completely different mindset and you will be able to move forward. Oftentimes we get the answer. We get the next move when we do this too, because we are bringing our mind and our heart into coherence to where that works together, and then we move forward from there. So it's a very simple thing. I always recommend setting your timer for 5 minutes, and it's really very simple. We're going to close our eyes. And if you get grounded, you can put your feet on the floor. Just make sure you are comfortable and you know where you are, so you can release your body and let yourself kind of go. We're going to take a few guided deep breaths that will bring our body into a place of safety, knowing that it is completely safe. And the way you do that is you take a deep breath in for 4 counts and you release it for 8. So we're slowing everything down. So we're going to breathe in for 4 and out for 8. We're going to do another one. Place your hand where your heart is. Out for 8. And you can feel your body already start to relax one more time. In for 4. And out for 8. And as we continue to relax, we're going to bring into our mind, into your mind's eye, something that you are either grateful for, something that brings you joy, or something that you love. Basically, for me, I bring into my mind's eye something that puts a smile on my face. And you're going to hold that there. And you can flip through different pictures if you want. But we're going to hold that there for a few minutes. And then we'll come out of it. As you breathe, feel yourself breathe in and out through your heart space. And now we'll take another deep breath. Coming back into the space. Feeling your feet on the floor. Your body in the chair. Another deep breath. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Such a good feeling coming out of that. And that resets everything. That's a perfect way to deal with that stress or whatever could be going on, or going into a meeting or whatever it is. It doesn't always have to be a negative or a stressful thing. It could just be that you want to get your brain and heart into coherence before you make the next move. And that's called, that's a heart map meditation. You can look up that online, and there's plenty of those videos where they'll lead you through it too. It's a beautiful thing. So as we close today, I want to say thank you so much for being here, Eddie.
Of course, always.
It's always so wonderful when you're on the sofa with us.
You don't even feel good.
I know, you did great. Thanks for sharing all your thoughts with us. I want to say also that if you've enjoyed what we've shared today, and if it's made a difference for you coming to the sofa, hearing what we talk about, if it's helping you to create more of a life you love, we would love for you to partner with us. And you can do that in so many ways. The main way is becoming a spiritual church club partner. And that's when you donate to us $45 a month for an individual or $75 a month for a couple or a family. And it's so easy to do that. You can just simply go online at beginwithinministries.com, scroll down, and there's an area you can do that. You can also do a one-time donation if that's better for you at this time. And also, it really, really helps us if you like our feeds, if you subscribe, if you're watching us on YouTube, if you share our posts, if you invite visitors, and of course, if you show up in person, because we would love to see your face here in the room, give you a hug or a handshake if that's more comfortable. But we love that we're building this community with like-minded individuals who are out to create lives that we love, that will have that ripple effect into the world we love. So we would love for you to join us in what we're doing here. And thank you so much for being with us today. We will see you next week, and Reverend Jeannie will be back with me on the sofa. See you next time.
See ya with his point.
Thanks for watching. Tune in again next week at 11:11 a.m. Pacific Time, or Monday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.